Hi, everybody. My name is Paul Gerard. I'm a student loan consultant with the American Dental Education Association, ADEA. This repayment module is on a wonderful debt management resource called the AAMC ADEA Dental Loan Organizer and Calculator. We're going to refer to this as DLOC for short in this recorded module. This module is going to give you some special tips for using DLOC to help you manage your student loans. Now, there are a number of benefits to DLOC. First of all, though, a reminder that when you borrow, for example, direct unsubsidized and direct plus, be sure that you set up an account with your loan servicer so that you can actually go in and manage your loans on their site. That's where you're going to be entering repayment information and you will be working with your loan servicer. So always be sure you know who your loan servicer is and set up an account with them. Now with DLOC, lots of benefits to using DLOC. You can keep all of your borrowing in one electronic file, and one of the most important things about DLOC is it will help you see the impact of additional borrowing every single time you take out an additional loan. Perhaps most important, DLOC is set up to help you choose a repayment strategy based on your own student loan portfolio, what you've borrowed and what your own repayment objectives are, and what your career plans are, including whether or not you're planning on doing advanced dental education work with the residency program. DLOC is also absolutely free for 7 years. Now, in order to get started with DLOC, simply go to adea.org/DLOC and follow some very simple instructions for new users. You're going to need to create an account with the Association of American Medical Colleges, the AAMC. This is the organization that actually helped us design the AAMC ADEA Dental Loan Organizer and Calculator. So you will actually have to set up an account with them. Once again, this is free. Once you do that, you will see two main sections to DLOC, the Dental Loan Organizer and the Dental Loan Calculator. We're going to look in detail at these two sections. But once again, to get started, simply go to adea.org/DLOC and follow the instructions for new users. Now, once again, DLOC is set up in two separate sections, the Organizer and the Calculator. The Dental Loan Organizer, this is where you keep your borrowing history. You can actually upload your federal borrowing directly from the federal database called the National Student Loan Data System site, nslds.ed.gov, and you can also manually input on the organizer prospective borrowing. This is going to be very important because if you've not done all your borrowing yet, NSLDS will only have your federal loans to date. You want to always go in and put in prospective borrowing. You can also put in loan servicer information in this section in the organizer. The Dental Loan Calculator is where you actually go in and tell DLOC which repayment option you are interested in based on your own portfolio and your own career plans. And you'll find that you can choose a number of options after dental school, directly into practice or doing advanced dental education work, either in a hospital-based residency program or an academic-based residency program. So two sections, the Dental Loan Organizer and Calculator. We're going to look in more detail at those in the next few slides. Now, once you get to the organizer, the first thing you want to do is to upload your federal student loan record. Any federal loans you already have from college, post-bac program, or dental school, upload them directly into the organizer. But then you want to be sure to add any projected borrowing, loans that don't show up yet on NSLDS. You want to be sure that you add those to the organizer so that you'll get a realistic look at what your repayment's going to be when you graduate from dental school. You enter individual loans by academic year. We're going to show you all this on the next slide. You can select the loan type, for example, direct unsubsidized and direct plus. Those are the two loans that are very typical for many dental school graduates who borrow. We'd encourage you in the nickname section, use the same nickname for the same loans. For example, always say Grad Plus if you're talking about Direct Plus loans. You might abbreviate Direct Unsubsidized to simply be Direct Unsub. but use the same nickname for each loan. That way, when you run your summary, they will all be grouped together accordingly. Be sure you enter the loan amount. We're going to encourage you to use 10 years for the repayment term on federal loans. That does not mean you are locked into a 10-year standard repayment term, but that is a standard way you can enter information on DLOC, and you get a choice later on about different repayment options. And consider using relatively high rates to show a worst case scenario when you go in and add projected borrowing. In other words, when you go in and put loans in that you have not taken out yet, don't use really low interest rates, because that would greatly underestimate what you're going to be repaying if in fact the interest rates turn out to be much higher. So be realistic when you go in and enter the interest rate on your student loans for any projected borrowing. Now here's an example of where you actually add loans in the organizer. You will see this section under loan information when you're on the DLOC organizer section. There's academic year, it's a drop-down menu, same thing for loan type. You will hit that and you'll see different loans such as direct unsubsidized and direct plus. The type of subsidy will automatically be put in on direct unsubsidized and grad plus loans. In other words, it will simply say these are unsubsidized loans. There's the nickname section we talked about. Be sure you use the same nickname for the same type of loans. And then you put in the borrowing amount and the repayment term of 10 years. And then the last entry you will see for interest rate. When you go in and put in manually a loan for a particular academic year, DLOC already knows what the interest rate is for that year, but it doesn't know what the rate is going to be for projected borrowing. And that's where, again, we would suggest you use a slightly higher rate just to be sure you're not underestimating what you're going to be repaying. So that's an example of where you actually add loans in the organizer. Here's an example of adding a direct unsubsidized into the calculator section. This is the exact same screen we were looking at earlier on the previous slide. There's the academic year listed as 2018-19. Direct unsubsidized Stafford. Notice it automatically put in no subsidy. We're going to nickname this direct unsub. You put whatever nickname you want, but that's a common nickname for the direct unsubsidized Stafford. $40,500, you put in the amount that you borrow. We put in 10 years, and we used an interest rate of 6.5%. We're recording this in the fall of 2017, and the current interest rate on direct unsubsidized loans for the 2017-18 year is 6%, so we made the future loan for next year a little bit higher. We referenced that earlier on the previous slide. So once again, there's an example of actually putting in a direct unsubsidized loan into the calculator section of DLOC. Now, once you go in and upload your federal loans from NSLDS and you add in projected borrowing, you can group the loans together by academic year, which you're looking at right here through the dental loan organizer and calculator. Now, once you've loaded your student loan portfolio into the organizer section of DLOC by using the NSLDS upload option and also manually entering any kind of projected borrowing into the organizer section, now it's time to use the calculator. And this section is great because what it lets you do is customize repayment and possible forgiveness estimates based on your own career plans, whether you're planning to go directly into a dental practice or perhaps do a residency program with advanced dental education, either a school-based residency program or a hospital-based residency program. And you get to pick different repayment options, and DLOC will run all sorts of different scenarios for you based on different career plans and also based on different salary levels. Now, this is what the dental loan calculator section looks like. It's going to initially ask you for some input values, and the first thing it's going to ask you is about your plans after dental school. It will default to graduating and going right into practice, and so that's the example that we have here. Where you see the arrow is where there is a drop-down box that's going to give you the option for advanced dental education. We'll look at that on the next slide. You get to enter the expecting starting salary, number, and household. That's going to be used for information on the income-driven repayment plans. But I want you to notice the blue circle with the question mark. If you click on that when you are in DLOC, it will give you some recent salary information from the ADA. And so if you're not sure about salaries, either put in an estimate or use the help text. We always encourage you to do that. Once the information is submitted, you simply click the submit button and it will run for you the repayment estimates. But what if you're going to do advanced dental education? And let's suppose in this example, you are going to do a hospital-based residency program and a 1-year GPR. This is where you, in the drop-down box, would simply select graduate and enter a postdoctoral residency program. The GPR is 1 year, and if you're not sure about the length of the different residency programs, once again, click on the blue circle with the question mark, and you'll get a listing of how long the different residency programs are. We also have information on salaries or stipends for residents. We've entered $53,243 for GPR. Once again, there's the section on salary, number, and household to help calculate the repayment under the income-driven repayment plans. And then notice the very last box. This is where you get to choose, do you want to jump into full repayment, or do you want to use an income-driven repayment plan, or perhaps even forbear your loans in residency. So this is where you can input values for doing advanced dental education work. Now, one of the things we think you'll notice about DLOC is that it gives you a lot of information, and we thought it would help you to show you how you can get a very easy to read summary of all your repayment options in one place in a very simple to read table format. And here is how you can do that. After you've entered everything in the organizer and you have all your NSLDS data loaded in, and you've entered in all your projected borrowing that you're going to have, and then you've gone to the calculator and put in your career plans in terms of whether or not you're going to do advanced dental education, hospital or residency-based program. When you get to the prompt about how you're going to repay your loans, select Start Full Repayment. Once again, regardless of what you're entering for career plans and regardless of what repayment plan you think you might need. Select Start Full Repayment, and then at the top right-hand corner, choose the Print button or the Print function. You will then see in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see a PDF icon, and if you click on that, it will take you to a PDF that's fairly lengthy with lots of information about repayment. But on the very first page, at the very top of the first page, you will see a repayment summary that will give you all the repayment options in one place. Now here's what it would look like if you actually did that. Once again, here's the calculator input section, and at the bottom, simply choose Select Full Repayment. Again, once again, regardless of what your plans are, choose Select Full Repayment. Then at the top right-hand corner of the screen, as we said earlier, choose the Print function. Simply click on that icon that says Print. You're then going to see a PDF icon in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. You see a blue arrow pointing at it here on this slide. So click on the PDF file in the bottom left-hand corner. And that will take you to a table summary, a total repayment summary that gives you information on repayment under all the different repayment plans, such as revised pay-as-you-earn, repay, pay-as-you-earn, known as pay, the standard 10-year plan, the extended 25-year plan, the older income-based repayment plan, known as IBR, and the graduated 10-year plan. And you'll notice in this table, you can also see how many years you have to repay, what the monthly payment amounts would be, the total repayment under all the different plans, and also information on how much you would pay out of pocket if you tried to qualify for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, and how much would be forgiven under that program if you qualified. You'll also see what's called program forgiveness under repay, pay, and IBR. Remember, this is the forgiveness amount if you use these plans and don't retire the debt at the end of the available term. So a great place to see all your repayment information in one spot. Now, it's very important that you understand what the assumptions are with the numbers that DLOC will give you. First of all, it assumes no changes to family size for the repayment amounts under the various income-driven repayment plans. If you put family size of 1, it assumes you are going to stay single all the way through repayment. It also assumes minimum payments. It has no way of knowing that you are going to overpay more than the required minimum under any plan. It also assumes moderate salary increases, including moderate increases to the stipends you will have if you do a hospital-based residency program for advanced dental education. And it also assumes that once you get into a repayment plan that you are going to stick with that repayment plan. You may be aware that you can contact your loan servicer and switch repayment plans during repayment if you need to. But DLOC assumes that whichever plan you have chosen, you stay in that plan, and the results will reflect that. Now we close up this module on the AAMC ADEA DLOC with some very important reminders. First of all, DLOC does not actually determine your eligibility for the income-driven repayment plans. Rather, DLOC assumes you know which ones you qualify for and lets you tell DLOC which one you want it to run the numbers for in repayment. The actual repayment amounts are going to be determined by your loan servicer. So be sure you always know who your loan servicer is, and be sure you have an online account set up with them. We'd encourage you to use DLOC at least on an annual basis, and to print out the summary and discuss it with your financial aid office on a regular basis at least once a year. And finally, there's some other resources at ADEA.org, including repayment modules on how the income plans work, on the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, and on refinancing your debt after graduation with a private lender. Thank you for your participation in this module. We appreciate your interest in the AAMC ADEA Dental Loan Organizer and Calculator, and we hope that the information has been beneficial to you. If you have any questions on DLOC, you can see your financial aid officer, or you can send them to first@aamc.org.